The objective of a make or buy decision aims to best utilize the firm's productive and financial resources. The problem often arises in connection to the possible use of idle equipments, idle space, and even idle labor with the firm. In such a situation, a manager is inclined to consider making certain units instead of buying them in order to utilize the existing facilities and to maintain the workforce stability. Commitment of the new resources may also be involved in the process. Outsourcing is purchasing of goods and services from outside vendors rather than insourcing, which is producing the same goods or providing the same services within the organization. Make or buy decisions are often complex, involving not only present cost but also projections of future costs resulting from such factors as capacity, trade secrets, technological improvements with time, product quality, seasonal sales, and production fluctuations, etc. Costs that will be considered under both the alternatives are not relevant to the analysis. The firm should make an analysis of cost, quality, and quantity considerations of the individual make or buy decisions. Differential cost analysis is especially useful if the company has idle capacity and idle workers that can be used to make the tools or parts for the company. Other potential uses of available capacity should also be considered, and the qualitative factors must also be evaluated in the decision making process. Slide 2. As already said, the make or buy decisions are often complex, involving not only the present costs but also the projections of expected future costs resulting from such factors as capacity, trade secrets, technological improvements with time, product quality, seasonal sales, and production fluctuations, etc. It is the responsibility of top management of the business firm to determine the basic factors that should be taken into account in the make or buy decisions of the firm. Another factor to be considered in make or buy decision is the technical ability of the labor that will be utilized in making the product. It should be evaluated against any kind of special training and skill needed. It may also be necessary to acquire specialized plant facilities and equipments to manufacture. In a make or buy situation with no limiting factor, the relevant cost for the decisions are the differential cost between the two options available to the business firm. A make or buy problem involves a decision by an organization about whether it should make the product or carry out the activity with its own internal resources, or it should pay another organization to make the production or activity or carry out the activity.
ABC Limited makes four components C1, C2, C3, and C4 for which costs in the forthcoming year are expected to be as follows. For the component C1, the production units is 1000. The variable costs include the direct materials at 6, the direct labor at 8, the variable production overhead at 2, which is total 16. For the component C2, the production units is 2000. The variable costs include the direct materials at 7, direct labor at 9, variable production overhead at 3. The total variable cost for component C2 is 19. For C3, the production units is 4000. The variable cost include direct materials at 4, direct labor at 4, variable production overhead at 1. The total variable cost for the component C3 is 9. For the component C4, the production units is 3000. The variable cost include direct materials at 5, direct labor at 6, and variable production overhead at 2. The variable total cost include all becomes 13. Directly attributable fixed costs per annum are as follows: incurred as a direct consequence of making C1 2000, incurred as direct consequence of making C2 at 5000, incurred as a direct consequence of making C3 at 6000, incurred as a direct consequence of making C4 at 8000. The other fixed costs are 30,000. The total is 51,000. A subcontractor has offered to supply the units of C1, C2, C3, and C4 for rupees 12, rupees 21, rupees 10, and rupees 14, respectively. We need to determine whether ABC Limited should make or buy the components. The solution is as follows. The relevant costs are the differential cost between making and buying, and they consist of difference in unit variable cost plus difference in the directly attributable fixed cost. Subcontracting will result in some fixed cost saving. Unit variable cost of making C1 is 16, for C2 it is 19, for C3 it is 9, and for C4 it is 13. The unit variable cost of buying C1 is 12, for C2 it is 21, for C3 it is 10, and for C4 it is 14. The net of C1 is minus 4, the net of C2 is 2, the net of C3 is 1, and the net of C4 is 1. The annual requirement units are for C1 1000, for C2 for 2000, for C3 4000, and for C4 3000. The extra variable cost of buying C1 units per annum is minus 4000. For C2 it is 4000, for C3 it is 4000, and for C4 it is 3000. The fixed cost saved by buying C1 is minus 2000, for C2 it is minus 5000, for C3 it is minus 6000, and for C4 it is minus 8000. Extra total cost of buying is minus 6000 for C1, for C2 it is 1000, for C3 it is minus 2000, and for C4 it is minus 5000. Thus, the company would save rupees 6000 per annum by subcontracting component C1, where the purchase cost would be less than the marginal cost per unit to make internally, and would save rupees 5000 per annum by subcontracting component C4 because of the saving in fixed cost of rupees 8000. In this example, relevant costs are the variable cost of in-house manufacturing, the variable cost of subcontract units, and the saving in fixed cost.
Slide 3. The decision to retain or replace a plant and equipment is an investment decision or a long-term decision, and it should be taken very carefully. The differential costs which are important in retain or replace decisions are changes in fixed overhead cost, loss on sale of old equipments, capital investment, and related costs such as the rate of return and interest. Management should also consider differential benefits likely to be derived such as higher production and increased sales, realizable value of the old machine, etc., saving in operating cost, tax advantages if any.
Suppose a company has purchased a plant for rupees 1000. Suppose a company has purchased a plant for rupees 1 lakh 5 years ago, which has a life of 10 years with no salvage value. The present value The present book value is rupees 50,000. Management is considering the replacement of this plant with a new plant costing 80,000 having a life of 5 years with no scrap value at the end of its life. The cost of operating present plant and proposed plant are as follows. For the present plant, the variable costs are For the present plant, the variable costs include labor supplies and power, which comes out to be 80,000. The fixed costs include insurance, taxes, etc. at 10,000. The depreciation rate is at 10,000. The total value is 1 lakh. The proposed plant has a variable cost which includes labor supplies power at 45. For the proposed plant, the variable costs include the labor, supplies, power, etc., which is 48,000. The fixed costs include insurance, taxes, etc. at 12,000, the depreciation at 16,000, the net is 76,000. It appears that the proposed plan would result in cost saving of rupees 24,000. However, the book value of the present equipment is a sunk cost and not relevant in this decision. The following analysis helps in making the better use of the data. For the present plan, the variable cost which includes labor supplies power is at 80,000. The fixed costs include insurance taxes at 10,000, the depreciation at 0, the net is 90,000. For the proposed plan, the variable cost which includes labor supplies power at 48,000, the fixed cost which includes insurance taxes etc. at 12,000, the depreciation at 60,000, the net being 76,000. The purchase of the new plant results in the saving of rupees 14,000. Management has to consider whether this benefit is enough to justify the investment of rupees 80,000 in new machinery.
Let us now quickly summarize what we have learnt in this module. Decision making is the process of evaluating two or more available alternative choices resulting into a final choice. The objective of make or buy decision should be the optimal utilization of the firm's productive and financial resources. The problem of make or buy arises in the situations of unutilized capacity of the firm like idle equipments, idle space or idle labor. In case of make or buy decisions, the component would be manufactured if the incremental cost of manufacturing is less than the incremental cost of buying the component. Incremental cost of manufacturing includes the variable cost of production, opportunity cost of using the facilities for manufacturing the component. This opportunity cost would be zero if the facilities would remain idle otherwise, and this cost will have some value if the facilities could be put to alternative profitable uses. The decision of replace or retain is taken on the basis of differential cost benefit analysis. The cost items include interest on capital investment, loss on sale of all machinery, change in fixed cost, etc. The benefit items include the reduction in operating cost, tax benefits, increased revenues due to additional production, sales value of the old machinery, etc. In replace or retain decisions, non-cost considerations including social cost and social benefit should also be considered before taking a final decision.